All right, Shalom Yasharallah. Before we get started, we're gonna give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kwadash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone that teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. And we're back with another video, another lesson. And the title of this one's gonna be called, Exhortation. Don't quit, endure until the end. All right, and this is gonna be a quick, exhortation. I know, to lift up the spirits of you brothers and your sisters out there. All right, who may, being, some of you may feel down, or, you may feel like, things aren't, what's the word I'm looking for? Things aren't, happening, which, stuff is happening. Prophecy is moving, but it's like, you wanted to get it, you wanted to get over it, and it could be things in your personal life as well. Things just trying to pull you back into the world. All right, it's all a test. It's all a test. It's all, according to the Lord's plan. And this goes for myself as well. And, you just gotta continue to pray, continue to have patience, continue to believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, because I believe that I wasn't I don't want to seem like I'm not trying to seem proud, but I believe that the Lord didn't he didn't give me, or he didn't show me this for just for me to fall out, which he could have, but I believe that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. The Lord chose me for this specific reason, and it may just to be wake up the elect. That could be the path that he wanted me on, just to get the elect woken, and because the Lord can do that. He can use you for a specific reason, and I just hope and pray that that's not it. That's not all. I pray that is a reason, but I also pray that I'm one of his chosen. But I want to start with Matthew 24:13 real quick. And it says, but he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. All right. So we got to endure all the way until the end. Not, when you get into, Jacob's trouble, or when a chip comes out. No, endure all the way into the end. When your house returns and the angels return and comes and destroy this place, endure all the way into the end, until you want a chariot. Right? Let's look at this word endure real quick. Endure.
Strong's G 5278. Hupamano.
And let me do this real quick. Put it on silent. Hupamano says to remain, to tarry behind, to remain, i.e. abide, not recede or flee. Right? Don't recede. Let's look at recede. Let's see if we can get something else. Recede. Go or move back or further away from a previous position. Right? Like turning your back on the truth. You didn't endure. You didn't have patience until the end. It says to persevere under misfortunes and trials, to hold fast to one's faith in, it says Christ, but in Yahushua. So it says you gotta persevere, man. What does persevere mean? Let's look that up. Continue. It says continue in the course of action, even in the face of difficulty, or with little or no prospect, all right, of success. So it says in a course of action, even in the face of difficulty, in the face of tribulation, in the face of troubles. All right, you still gotta persevere, man. You may go through troubles in your personal life, you're gonna go through troubles in the truth, period. Maybe big or small. You may not have, your car may not start, or You may not have, maybe broke for a couple of days till payday. You got to be down for a little bit, right? It says to endure, bear bravely and calmly ill treatments. Okay, it says to stay under, behind, i.e., remain, figuratively, to undergo, i.e., bear trials, have fortitude, all right, persevere, we just read, abide, endure, take patiently, suffer. You're going to suffer, you're going to suffer bodily ailments. Brothers in the truth are sick, you know. You're going to go through these different trials and tribulations that the Lord is going to put on you. So it says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And that's all the way to the end. All right. So we got to continue to endure unto the end, man. Continue to push yourself. Continue to pray. If you got to, do it fast. I need to do that myself, because it's about to get really, really hard out here, man. And the Lord has, given us the eye salve, open our eyes to the things in the world, man. The things that's going on in the world. And to really understand the knowledge, wisdom of this Bible, man. The Lord has done that for us out of the billions of, I'll say, Israelites, because he doesn't do it he can do it to, I'll say Israelites, so-called blacks, Latino, Native Americans, out of the nation of Israel. He decided to show us he decided to open up our eyes, to let us receive the information through these great men, the apostles, prophets, okay, the men, starting with the men of GMS and our affiliates. The Lord decided to give us this information, man. So we should, really, thank the Lord every day. Thawadi Yahweh Shemi Ashah for giving us this knowledge, wisdom, understanding. But let's get another one. Let's get James 5, all right? Because you can read the stories, get examples of, the different men who endured into the end, who endured, the things that they went through. This is James 5 and 7. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and hath long patience for it, until he receive the early and latter rain. A husbandman is a farmer. He has to be patient, growing the fruits and the vegetables that he wants. We must be patient for the coming of the Lord. It says, be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. The Lord Yahweh Shai is his return. Each day that goes past is the closer and closer. It's closer and closer. We get closer and closer, Salakia, to the day of his return. We don't know when it is, but we know it's getting close. Each day that goes past, we getting closer to it. Okay? Verse 9, grudge not one against another, brethren, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door. Take my brethren, the prophets, who have spoken in the name of the Lord, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. We know the story of Job. He lost everything, right? Lost his family, lost his wife, lost his riches. Okay, he had lost everything. But what? He still kept his integrity. He still worshiped the Lord, even though he was brought to a low estate. Job is a great example. Yahweh Shai is our greatest example. He suffered all that on the cross, just so we can have a way back to the Father. He suffered the mocking. He suffered the what's the word? The persecution. He suffered his own people coming up against him, just so his people, his nation, the Israelites, can receive, mercy from the Lord, man. He suffered that. King David, he suffered humility. When he was getting chased by Saul and his men, Elijah the prophet, he suffered. We have stories that we can go back to and learn from. So continue to be patient, man. Continue to endure, man, because it's you rather die in the truth or die out in the world. I'd rather die in the truth, because you out in the world, you know what can happen to you. The Lord can, oh, mess you up pretty bad. Have you get hit by a Mack truck or lose your eyesight or even kill one of your family members or someone that you love. Your woman or your man, if you have one, your children, brother, sister, father, mother, right? The Lord can do that because you weren't patient. You didn't endure unto the end. You gave up. Let's see if we read this in an NLT version. It says, I'll start at verse 7 again. It says, Dear brothers and sisters, be patient as you wait for the Lord's return. Consider the farmers who patiently wait for the rains in the fall and in the spring. They eagerly look for the valuable harvest to ripen. You too must be patient. Take courage, for the coming of the Lord is near. Don't grumble. It says, don't grumble about each other, brothers and sisters, or you will be judged. For look, the judge is standing at the door, which is Yahweh Shai, right? For examples of patience and suffering, dear brothers and sisters, look at the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. We give great honor to those who endure under suffering. For instance, you know about Job, a man of great endurance. You can see how the Lord was kind to him at the end. For the Lord is full of tenderness and mercy. And if you endure to the end, you'll get a crown. You'll be in rulership. You'll be at the top. The Lord was gonna bless you with matter of fact, let's get Matthew 28. Is it 28 or is it 26? I think it's 26. No, I'm wrong. It's I'm sorry, Matthew 19. Right? This is what you'll receive if you endure to the end. Matthew 19:28. And Yahushua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And everyone that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. So you'll get 100-fold. You'll get probably even more than that, what the Lord has promised you, if you forsake those things and endure to the end. That's the great prize that you'll receive. Let's get Ecclesiasticus 2:1. It says, My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Constantly endure, man. We must constantly endure. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. You're going to go through adversity. You're going to be tried. The Lord is going to try you. He's going to do something to you to test you and see whether, are you going to have integrity, or are you going to, you going to give up. You see? The Lord's looking for, the Lord's looking for, he's trying to get those impurities out of you, out of us, if I may say, right? And this whole chapter is good. You can read it. I'll read a little bit more. It says, Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. you know. So we must, have faith in the Lord, man, because He'll get you through whatever. Let's get Hebrews 10. All right. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 10 and 35, and it says, "Cast not away therefore your confidence, which hath great recompense of reward. For ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of the Most High, ye might receive the promise." It says, "For yet a little while, he that shall come will come and will not tarry." The Lord was speaking of Yahweh Shai, man. He's gonna come and will not tarry. Okay, now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. So don't draw back on the Lord, man. "But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul." Let's read it in LT real quick. It says, "Patient endurance is what you need now, so that you will continue to do God's will. Then you will receive all that He has promised. For in just a little while, the coming one will come and not delay. And my righteous ones will live by faith. But I will take no pleasure in anyone who turns away. But we are not like those who turn away from the Most High to their own destruction. We are the faithful ones whose souls will be saved." And we pray that and hope that our souls will be saved. Those who turn away, it doesn't look good for them, man. All right. You see what happens to those who fall away from the truth. You've seen examples. Perfect one, Alazar. He's through. Nah, I don't want that to happen to me or to anybody out there who's listening to this video. You brothers or you sisters out there that who sincerely believe. Right? Let's get one more. This is 2 Timothy. All right, 2 and 3. And it reads, I'll start at 1. "Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach Yahushua, and the things that thou hast heard of me, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Hamashiach. Endure hardness." See what hardness means. Pretty sure it's like difficulty or something. Right? Endure hardness. To suffer, endure evils, hardships, troubles. To be afflicted. To undergo hardship. Let's look it up furthermore. Severe suffering or privation. Okay? Another word for privation. Destitution, poverty, austerity. All right? Want, neediness. Okay? Financial distress. You're going to go through financial struggles in the truth. You may be low in the spirit. You're going to have those low days. It's going to be a lot of up and downs in this thing. You're not always going to be on fire. Okay? You're going to be down sometimes. But pray. That's the most important thing. I told the brothers this weekend what was going on with me. They told me, "Brother, you just need to pray." They prayed over me. And I prayed. Pray a lot more, man. That's important. Prayer is important. It really is. You pray, you just feel, after you pray, you feel much, much better. Real quick, I'll read this. First Thessalonians 5 and 17. "Pray without ceasing." Okay? Never stop praying, man. No matter where you at. It could be just a quick one. You don't got to be no long, drawn out. You may be going somewhere, just, think how about Shema Shah for getting you there safe, man. But don't quit. Endure until the end. So continue to endure. You're going to go through suffering, you'll go through trials and tribulations, but it's all worth it. It's worth it because, like the elder said this weekend, it's easy being in the world. That's the easy road. That's the what's it called? That's the wide. That's the wide path. We're walking down the straight gate. being in the truth is not easy, but through the Spirit, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, we pray that He gives us the Spirit and continue to give us the inspiration to preach and teach His word correctly. So Lord willing, this was edifying. All right, and any brothers and sisters out there was exhorted through the Spirit. We're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakwadash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone that teach and rule well. Peace and citation to the hopeful elect. Lord's will use edified, and Lord will be back with another one. Till then, I'm going to say, Shalom.